Welcome to the vlog. It's Tuesday, and as promised, I am taking you with me throughout the week. So I am reading Outline by Rachel Cusk. I just started it, and I think this is going to be one of my reads for my hot girl summer. It's part of a 3-part series, Outline, Kudos, and Transit. I am waiting for my daughter to get done at the dentist because always, first and foremost, my family comes first. And whenever I can be there for them, I am. I actually didn't mind accompanying my daughter to her dental appointment because it gives me a chance to get out of the country, to get out of the mundacity, to not do the mundane things that I normally do on a daily basis, like go to a different coffee shop, have lunch in the city. We hit our old stomping grounds, and that was kind of nice. Sometimes you just want to spend the day away from home, away from the things that you should be doing, like I should be doing laundry, and you just want to have lunch in a nice restaurant and hang out in the city. So that's what we did. We went to this restaurant called the Carlyle, which is part of the Great American Restaurant chain of restaurants. This restaurant has stayed very consistent over the nearly 15, 16 years that I've lived in this area. And it's always one of those restaurants that you can go to and you can count on when you're not sure where else to go eat. They're very consistent. They always have been. And as long as they stay that way, this will always be a go-to for me. So if you're in Arlington, check out the Carlyle. This restaurant, the Astro Beer Garden, has been so many things since we've lived here. I have not been to the Astro Beer Garden, but I have wanted to try Astro's fried chicken and donuts. I've been wanting to try them for a while, so I thought I would grab some things to take home for dinner and maybe even a donut just to try. Oh, look. I just want a vanilla glazed and some chicken. So I did get a vanilla glazed donut. I got a chicken sandwich and some wings. And y'all, I didn't like any of it. The wings seemed undercooked. This chicken sandwich was way too hot, whatever that sauce was. I asked for medium spicy. They made it spicy. And the donut was way too bready. I maybe should have tried one of their specialty donuts instead. But I feel like if you can't do a vanilla glazed donut, I don't know. I don't really trust you to do anything else. I always like a new experience, but as it stands now, I think I'm going to just stick to what I know. Anyway, then it was back to the house so I could get back to my reading. I am starting Rachel Cusk's Outline. This is a 3-part series. The other 2 books are Kudos and Transit. And these books have been quietly recommended around the internet. What I mean by that is I've seen it a lot. I've seen them a lot, or I've seen Parade, which is her latest one. I also have another one of her books here. Where is it? Second Place. I've seen her books around, but quietly, not necessarily recommended by really popular booktubers or book talkers or bookstagrammers. Some of them are popular, but most of them are just more like serious readers. And I decided that I would read this. I decided that I would read this series or buy the series one because I'm a sucker for a certain type of aesthetic when it comes to a book. And all of these books have this, just the font they use, the large piece of artwork on the front, but with this white border, and the way they wrote even the blurbs about the book. It's graphically, it's stunning. And I have 3 of them. And for some reason, I just love the way they look. So that was number one, the reason. The books, even when they were being reviewed by other people, kind of jumped off the screen at me. I immediately took notice. and was intrigued. But we all know you can't judge a book by its cover. So the substance still has to be in the book, right? So I think I've read the synopsis of this book before, but I just wanted to read it again. This is a national bestseller. It was a finalist for the Rathbones Folio Prize, the finalist for the Goldsmiths Prize, finalist for the Scotiabank Giller Prize, and the Bailey's Women's Prize for Fiction. I sometimes like to read books that have been considered for prizes or awards because, one, I want to see if I see what the people who nominated them or decided that, they should be part of those things, like, why? Like, I'm nosy, This is the first book in a short and yet epic cycle, a masterful trilogy that will be remembered as one of the most significant achievements of our times. I feel like I see blurbs like that on every book. And, I get it. When you're talking about the book, if you've read it and you really like it at the time, you just sing its praises. So that means a lot and it means nothing at the same time. But here's the synopsis. Outline is a novel in 10 conversations. Spare and lucid, it follows a novelist teaching a course in creative writing over an oppressively hot summer in Athens. She leads her student, I'm assuming she just has one, or this is a typo. In storytelling exercises, she meets other writers for dinner. She goes swimming in the Ionian Sea with her seatmate from the plane. The people she encounters speak volubly about themselves, their fantasies, anxieties, pet theories, regrets, and longings. And through these disclosures, a portrait of the narrator is drawn by contrast, a portrait of a woman learning to face a great loss. I don't know. What's interesting is, now you've heard that, so that's a great blurb. I get it. We're going to see this woman. She's a teacher. She's in Greece. I feel like I already see like a movie in the works for this, right? The scene is already set for me. But then the New York Times goes on to say that Outline is transfixing in its unruffled awareness of the ways we love and leave each other, and of what it means to listen to other people. While little happens in Outline, everything seems to happen. You find yourself pulling the novel closer as if it were a thriller. It also kind of seems like it's Seinfeldian, like it's a book about nothing but everything all at the same time. I'm here for it, y'all. I am. This is the type of book that I do kind of want to read in the summertime. And I am compiling my hot girl summer list, how to stay cool in the heat of the summer, because that's really what we'll be doing. A hot girl summer reading list for me will just be like me literally physically staying in the house and under the air conditioning so that I do not burn up or boil this summer. It should be, and I don't want to be hot girl summer reading list. But I'm compiling that. And one of the things, I gave myself a little bit of criteria. So for my hot girl summer reading list, I have my loosely adopted criteria is that, one, the authors be women. I would like the authors to be women. I'm going to try from now until summer's over to just read mostly women authors. I don't want the books to be overly like angsty though. I want them to be interesting and well thought out. And I want them to make you think. So the book has to make you think. The book has to be by a woman, preferably about a woman. The main character should also be a woman. That's important to me. Because it's hot girls, right? Like, we're hot girls. We're not hot girls, but you know what I mean. I want it to be kind of woman focused. I pretty much evenly read books when it comes to whether the gender of the author. I'm not, I don't only read books by women, and I don't read an overwhelming number of books by men either. I kind of feel like it's pretty balanced, but I don't know. I kind of want to focus on the girls this summer, and on hopefully the other criteria in the book is that it's not like a huge book. I don't really want to read a huge book. Initially, I thought I would try to get through Barbara Streisand's memoir, which is like 1,000 pages in the summer. And then I was like, that could go one of two ways. I could fly through it because it's so good and so juicy, even though I have it on good authority that there's a lot of detail in this book. But I mean, I feel like she's lived her life and she's an icon, and I personally love her. And she just seems like she knows her stuff. So I feel like I would be okay, like sitting there, you know, listening to her in her book. And maybe I will still do it as an audiobook. I haven't decided yet. But she's narrating it. So, and apparently there's like some good music in it too. So I'm thinking more of an audiobook, but I do have the book. Maybe I'll do a read along. Maybe I'll do that. We'll see. But that is one of the books that I'm considering. But for a physical book to hold in my hand, I don't want to do 1,000-page books. So they have to be small books. I think starting off with a series is probably going to be smart for me because, you know, it'll be like reading 3 separate books, but still getting like still getting still getting a beginning, middle, and end of one story. So let's recap that really fast so that we're all clear. Must be written by a woman, can't be too angsty, preferably should be a shorter book, should make you think or somehow, some way change your life. Doesn't have to be both of those, but one or the other. If it's going to change your life, it's probably going to make you think. But, you know, sometimes just because we get something out of a book, it doesn't mean that it changes our life. But if it does both of those, then that's wonderful. That's such a vague criteria in the big scheme of things. But one of the reasons why I kind of made it like that is because I want to stay nice and cool and calm, and I want to have a very slow, romanticized summer. So I don't want to read anything that's going to have me stressed out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to be stressed from my reading because I read to escape. Now, sometimes I do read books that stress me out on purpose because, you know, you want to feel alive. But it's summertime. I kind of just want to read. I don't want to just necessarily read only heartwarming stories or only stories that are like, you know, fluffy. But I would like to read a couple of those too. But I also don't want to read anything like super deep or tragic. I don't want to be necessarily like trauma dumped on either. So somewhere in between. It'll make you think, it's not angsty. And when I say not angsty, I mean like, I don't necessarily want to read about a woman who just doesn't know what she's going to do with her life. And, you know, she's just confused. I don't necessarily want to read about being confused unless like there's a reason for it. Not just like, oh, I'm trying to figure out my life. So I think most of the women that I'm going to be reading about will probably be a little bit older. They've been through some stuff and maybe they do need to figure some things out, but they're not like immobilized with fear or confusion. You know, they know what they have to do. They know who they are. They just may have hit a bump in the road and there was a lesson that needed to be learned. That's the book that I'm looking for. Now, if I'm reading a book and I get halfway through it and I realize that it doesn't have those things in it, I may or may not DNF it. But for the most part, if it's a good book, I'll probably still end up reading it anyway. And a little angst, it won't kill me. I am looking for those types of books. So I started reading this one just to see what we're going to get. And it is broken up into the 10 conversations. There are 10 chapters in this book. Each one is a conversation. I don't know the name of the narrator yet because I just started reading the book and it just goes right into the story. I'm like maybe 4 or 5 pages in. So I don't know any of that yet. And I did a quick like thumb through the book, and this particular book has very long chapters because it's just the 10 and they're the different conversations that the narrator she has with people. And so from chapter 5 to chapter 6, there's like 42 pages. So I'm hoping this doesn't read like a book of short stories because that would actually annoy me. After Weird Black Girls, I'm just not ready for a book of short stories yet. Anyway, so I'm gonna tuck into this book, and today it looks like I might get another sunset. So I'm gonna tuck into this book, start reading it a little bit. If we get a spectacular sunset, I'll show you that. And then that's gonna be the end of this video. And I'll be working on the next ones. By the way, yesterday was the year in the house, and I am really working on that video because I want it to be a good one, but now I feel like I've raised the level of expectation too high. And so try to ignore most of what I say about what this video is going to be because I even don't know yet. I'm still working on it, but I will try to get it out to you guys soon. So if you like this, hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you like these videos, because I would actually love to get to 1,000 subscribers, you know, sometime in the summer. That would be really cool. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go now, read a little bit more of this book, and I will see you in the next one. So for the record, this is already an interesting book, but it's a little quirky. Like it's making me feel off kilter. And I'm not sure why. I'm nervous.